Adobe After Effects is a great tool for creating abstract videos and generating new patterns and different effects that you can use in your video projects. Sometimes we need to just start from source material, and other times we can generate our abstract patterns, like this funky repeating kaleidoscope like pattern in After Effects. To get started, create a new project in After Effects and then create a new composition. When you click the new composition button, you can label this background. Check the duration of your clip. For this clip, I'm going to start with 30 seconds and then set your frame rate to what you want. You can either choose 30 or 60 frames per second, depending on how you will display it, and then press OK. In order to create or generate video in After Effects, we need something to generate the video on. So we'll create a new solid in After Effects. Go to Layer, New, Solid. It doesn't matter what color the solid is. Here we can just call back color, and you can pick any color you want. Then go to Effects and Presets over on the right. If you don't see it, go to Window, Effects and Presets, and type in Gradient. Here, there's a 4-color gradient. Drag that onto your solid. We automatically have 4 gradients, but we can change the colors a bit. So click the yellow and then just drag it down so it's just a little darker. Adapt the green to be just a little darker, the pink to be a little darker. And of course, you can change these colors to anything you want. Just have a nice, subtle dark background. Now we have source material that we can create our abstract pattern with. We need something to create the pattern on, so go to Layer, New, Solid. Label this solid Abstract Pattern. Then in the Effects and Presets panel in After Effects, look for Particle World. Drag CC Particle World onto the clip, and we will change a few settings of CC Particle World. First, the birth rate. Let's lower this a little bit so there's less. We can lower this down to maybe 1.2. Play with these settings yourself. And then longevity, how long the particles will stay around. So let's go for 25. Where are the particles? Drag your playhead out, and then you'll start to see the particles in the background. On the producer, we need to change a few settings. Leave the X radius as is, and then change the Y radius to 0, and increase the Z radius so we get a bit more depth. Try something like 4. Then under physics, we want to remove the gravity, so our particles are just floating. So press 0 for gravity, and we want to decrease the velocity to something like 0.4 or 0.2. Again, play with these values. Then under particle, we want to change the particle type. Currently it's line, but if we change the particle to something like lens convex, we'll get these bubbles. We can change the birth and death size. So right now they're a bit small, so I'll increase this birth size, and then I'll make the death size very similar. Now that we have the birth to death size selected, we can do some more effects. Let's add some streaks to the particles by adding an echo. So in Effects and Presets, type echo, drag echo onto your new solid. We can increase the number of echoes, so you can see how this starts to add streaks. And then we can change the echo time to be just a little bit shorter. So we'll go negative 0.004. And now we still have some streaks from the echoes, but they're just not as intense. And of course, play with this how you want to. And then we can change the decay to something like 0.7. So the echoes start to decay away. If that's not intense enough, you can always raise it to something like 0.8 to see how those go. Now that we have these echoes going through our pattern, let's make a kaleidoscope with hex tiles. In Effects and Presets, type hex and drag CC hex tile in After Effects onto your solid. This is a little bit too much repeating, so let's go ahead and increase the radius. This is already a fun effect, but we can make it even more fun by changing a few more settings. Under Render, we have Fold Aligned, and we also have Fold Seamlessly. Both will give you different effects. So here we have Fold Seamlessly, which is pretty fun because each of the patterns fold into each other. I'm going to increase the radius a bit more. Now we're really starting to get some patterns. But the white is a bit boring. So we have a gradient in our background, but we want to have some color in the foreground as well. So let's go back to Gradient. And this time, instead of the 4-color gradient, try the gradient ramp. Over on Gradient Ramp, we can choose the start of the ramp by clicking this little cursor and then clicking. And then we can choose the end of the ramp. And of course, these are animatable properties, so we can keyframe these. And then for the start color, choose something fun. I'm going to try this pink and then For the end color, let's try this blue. And so now we have this really nice animation happening, but it's very static. Yes, everything is changing as the patterns go seamlessly into each other, but we can add some animation. In the CC hex tile effect, there's a number of parameters we can animate. Let's start with the radius. So in the beginning, click on the stopwatch and then go to the end of your clip, and we can change this radius. Let's make it bigger as the clip goes along. Then we can also change the rotation. So click rotate at the very beginning and then go to the end. And for this, you could choose 180, 270, or a full 360-degree rotation, which translates to 1. So now we have the pattern is rotating, and it just adds a little bit more to it. Don't forget, we can also change many settings because this is all non-destructive. So if we change our particle type to a quad polygon, everything will suddenly look different. Or if we change our particle type to a tetrahedron, it'll also have a different pattern. There's many ways that we can create these fun, interesting patterns with After Effects. Currently, the composition of this abstract pattern in After Effects is only 30 seconds. We can extend that by selecting both layers, right-clicking, and pre-composing. When you pre-compose, we can say extended clip, and make sure you move all attributes into the new composition. Under Layer, Time, enable time remapping. Now you can see these two keyframes. This allows us to speed up or slow down the time. Under composition settings, let's increase the composition to 2 minutes and press OK. Down at the bottom of the timeline, I can zoom out and drag the clip so it's longer, and then move this keyframe all the way to the end. So now everything will be nice, slow, tranquil, and trippy. And we have our abstract pattern that we can edit and animate along the way. So hopefully this allows you to animate in After Effects an abstract pattern using gradients, CC particle world, and some hex patterns.